Hello Business 4300 Data Analytics students. This is a getting started video just to get you through the first steps. There's some files and some other information to take care of here. We're looking at the e-class for the course right now, and just note that I'll probably be talking about the course resources tab or section within e-class. That's right here. Here's a checklist for getting started, trying to organize this so you can get a nice quick start and have all the resources right at your fingertips here. For the course, you're going to have the paper text, which is Evans. That is, that's a paper version of the text, not an online version or a digital version of the book. Evans Data Analytics. It's from the publisher Pearson. It's a second edition, and it's generally available through the Mount bookstore. For the course, each student I give a 2-digit class ID number. Basically, I just give an ordered number of the entire class of all the students, and that becomes your class ID number. The only place in the entire course that this is used is when you create a file that you're going to upload to eClass. You always have to name it with the first 2 digits of the file name being these 2 digits. So if your class ID number is 04, then you start every file name you put up on eClass with 04, then your name, and then whatever the name of the file is, some file name there, okay? This is used to start the file name of all files uploaded on eClass, and I emailed this list to you, so that's where you should be looking for it, but I also posted in that course resources tab on eClass. For this class, Business 4300, download and decompress, that is unzip, the data files for the Evans text. There's a big list of files here that actually came out of industry. It's real data that this Professor Evans uses, and we'll be using that. I'll email it, and it's also in the course resources. Now also, it may take you some time, a week, to get the book, so download the Evans Chapter 1 Word file for Chapter 1 so you can get started. But make sure that you have that book on order or in your hands, either way, as soon as you can. You can use one Excel file for most of this course and just create tabs along the bottom of the file for each problem that we do. We might be doing problems in class, you might be doing homework problems, and just keep adding to it. But what's really important is I have to be able to find it when you hand in homework or quizzes or whatever else it might be. So you have to make sure that you name the tab very clearly. Okay, so I'm going to go through all these. I'm just going through the checklist right now, and I'm going to go through and show you in this video how to do this. As we go through the course, so you're going to end up putting many sheets into this Excel file. So I'm generally going to be looking toward the end. When I open up your Excel file, all the tabs at the bottom, I'm going to go all the way to the right. So you just keep adding them to the right, and you might end up with 50 to 100 actual sheets inside your Excel file throughout the course. Okay, so to get started in the course that way, you can open up a blank Excel file, name it as described, where the first 2 digits are your class ID number. Then you put a space, put your name in there, put a space, and then whatever the file name is. And in this course, we're generally going to be handling Excel files, which the extension is .xlsx, but occasionally you might have a document from a Microsoft Word document or a PowerPoint. Okay, so an example file name would be if Elon Musk's class ID number was 04 from a table that I've sent you and is available on eClass. You can look it up. If it's 04, the name of this file would be 04 space Elon Musk space, and then whatever the name of the file is. Now, there's actually a name of the file that I have here. Probably is what I'm recommending that you do, is start it up and just call it the Business 4300 Data Analysis or something like that. And this is the one where you're going to end up putting 50 to 100 sheets in here over the course of the course. For each new problem, create a new sheet as I described and name it appropriately. And I'll give you the example here in the video in a second. And for text responses, for a problem that's asking you to type something in, an essay type question, in Microsoft Excel, you can do it in an insert text box. Okay, so I'm going to show you the first thing that we're going to do is go unzip the file, which I've emailed to you and is also on the course resource page. So you can find it both ways. So let's go over and I'll show you how to unzip that if you're not familiar with it. So let's go over to unzip the. So now let's go over and get the auxiliary file for the book, for the Evans second edition of Data Analytics. And we're going to unzip that. I'll show you how to do that if you haven't done that before. I have it sitting here. You're going to download it into your hard drive somewhere, but you're going to be able to find it. You have a directory for this course, a folder for this course, and the name of the file that you're going to see there is, well, you're going to download this is Evans Data Files, and it probably won't have that little one after it, but it's a .zip file. All you do is click it, right click. Once you've selected that file, right click it, extract all. Generally, if you accept this path that it's asking you about, it will just create a folder underneath this and put all the files in there. Okay, so we'll say extract. Don't pay any attention to this. Is a little issue that I have here. That's not a big problem. You shouldn't get any of those pop-up boxes yourself, but I have a very long file name path for this, and it was just telling me it's going to have a problem with some of the file names. That's just my case here. Okay, and so when it decompresses, there's going to be two folders. One of them for Mac. I'm not sure why. If you have a Mac, you might need to use those, but for everybody else that's using a PC, go into data files here, and you can see there's a long list of files that we're going to use for doing analysis in this course. Okay, so when there is an assigned problem, and I'm going to go over there now, let's go over and take a look at the Chapter 1 homeworks, 1 through 10, which is generally how we start off the course. So I'm going to go over to Microsoft Word. These are the questions that I will send you. I send you these questions. They are in the back of the book, but I'm going to send you the digital form of these for this reason. Okay, so when you're going to answer questions in Excel, you could take this text and you can copy it right in. It's really a good idea to have the question right there for yourself so you can just read it within the Excel file. Okay, so let's go and start the Excel file. I'm going to grab this while I'm here. So I'm going to Control C. I'm saving this to the clipboard here. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to open up an Excel file. And I'm going to say New. And just give me a blank workbook. And so here's our very first tab. There's only one tab. There's only one sheet in here. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save this file with my 2-digit ID number. Okay, so we're going to start right off here. We're going to rename this sheet. This is going to be Chapter 1, Problem 1. You can name this any way you want, but that's a quick nomenclature to understand what's going on here. Chapter 1, Problem 1. And if you remember, I have some text up on the clipboard that we need to use. So I'm going to insert, come over here, and there's a text box. And I can draw the text box. Okay. And I do a Control V that takes the clipboard information and puts it in here. And maybe I want to see that a little better, so I bump up the font a little bit. Okay, so then I can resize my text box, and now I can move that anywhere I want. So if I start working and I need it out of the way, I can just move it around. But there's the question. So you could generally leave that question up there. Discuss how you might use business analytics in your personal life, such as managing your grocery purchasing, automobile maintenance, budgeting, sport, and so on. Be creative in identifying opportunities. Okay, so then pretty much all you really need to do is type in your response. You can grow this. What you can do is when we're in the text box, you can grow this as you want it. You type in whatever you want. That's your response. Now, when you get to the next problem, whatever the number might be, you add a problem down here. And so suppose it's say it's Chapter 1, Problem 2, right? And we do the same thing. Then we just go get the text of the problem here, insert a text box as I just did, and you just continue this. You're going to end up with many tabs here, and just keep adding the tabs at the end. But you have to make sure that when you name these tabs, name these sheets, that I'm able to find it when you submit it for homework. Okay, so that's how most of that will work. Those are the mechanics of getting a file started and naming the file and how you get a question in here and how you answer it. Okay, so let's go back to the question set here. Let's go back to Microsoft Word. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to use one of the files now because I think problem 5 talks about sales transactions. That's a file I think we actually end up using quite often in this course. Okay, so let's go get that. Let's go open that up. We'll go over to data files. So remember this window that I'm showing here, this folder and file directory that I'm showing here should have sales. Let's go down and find that. What's the name again? Sales transactions. So we're going to go down. We're going to find the right file to answer the problem. There's sales transactions. We open it up. I just double clicked it. Okay. And so now we have this data. Now what you're going to want to do is enable editing. Here, you may or may not get that that information. But what you want to do is take the data, just take all this data. I'm going to select all the data. There's keyboard shortcuts for doing this, but I'm just going to show you how to do it. I'm going to select all the data. I'm going to Control C, puts it on the clipboard, and go over to my homework problem, and I'm going to drop it in. Okay, so just copy it over into your file. Now you have the original, so you haven't touched it. And you may want to keep that open for a little while, or you can close it right away because now you have the information copied over to your big file that you're going to add in. And what I would do, just to keep in mind, I don't want to confuse you, is that this was actually problem 5. So make sure you're tracking your sheet numbers down here accurately. So I would change this to problem 5, not to get confused. Okay, go back over, get the text of the problem like this, Control C, and now I can insert text box. Put that problem right in there. Now I know what it's asking me to do. Okay, and so for example, this is classify each of the data elements in this file as categorical, ordinal, interval, or ratio. Let's go back to our checklist here. Back to our checklist. And I think we've covered everything I need to in this file. And this would be the file that you would upload for each homework assignment that's posted up on eClass. So that's good. Hopefully that helps you get started and explains any of this text type checklist that I have up here, gets into helping out understanding what I'm talking about in these problems. So we'll look forward to the rest of Business 4300 together. Thank you very much.